So, I have no idea what episode we're on, so I'll introduce the show. How do you introduce a show? All right, welcome everybody to the Screencast episode, because I don't know it. I'm your host, Chandra Reger, and with me is Stephanie Crawford.
Wait, I don't get to be Brad Henderson if you get to be Sean?
No one wants to be Brad.
God damn it. Why am I even here?
Because I asked you to be, and I guess we're going to try to do this without Sean. If Sean does listen, I'm sure he'll have a great time laughing at us.
Do you think he'll listen?
No.
Oh.
So since Sean's not here, and the reason why Sean's not here is because he is extremely busy doing his vocal booth and his voiceover career that he is doing on the side. He will be back eventually, but we also didn't want months to go by without a new episode or anything like that. So Stephanie has agreed to do a show with me to go over What's on Your Doorstep. We decided to do that since that's Sean's least favorite segment and he thinks that everybody hates it. We're just going to do an entire episode where we talk about everything that we've watched for the past 6 months, which is the 6 months is our last episode, correct? That's what it feels like anyway.
I don't even think it was a month ago, but
I don't even remember our last episode. What did we even talk about?
That's interesting. It was Vinegar Syndrome.
Oh, that's right. Yes, we did. Oh, did you watch, because we were going to talk about you watching that one, I forget, not Dear Dead Delilah. What was the rape revenge movie? Did you end up watching that?
Deadly Daphne's Revenge.
Oh, yeah. Did you like that? Because I thought I saw you say something along the lines where it wasn't as bad as you were told it was.
Yeah, I mean, I built that up in my mind, partially as a coping mechanism and partially because I kept hearing from people. So I was expecting something really terrible. And it's brutal, don't get me wrong, but
right.
It's one of those ones where it's the very notorious part is like bloop, and the rest of it's like basically a hunting movie. So
yeah, that's the one thing is I think with a lot of movies we're almost not too judgy, but I think we're very aware of things that are going on and times that are changing to where we're a little bit more sensitive than we were, even 5 years ago. Which is probably a good thing, because obviously we're becoming more aware. But yeah, when people talk about that movie, I was like, oh, it's not that graphic. Like, I feel like there's a lot of movies in that kind of subgenre that go a little overboard. And I feel like that's one of the ones that tries to, like, kind of breeze by it real quick in order to get to the more action sequences, I guess. I don't know. But I think it's kind of overlooked anyway. I do like the movie. But did you say you liked it, though? You enjoyed it?
Unfortunately, I don't really have anything strong to say about it. It was...
It's just there.
Fine. Yeah.
It's a movie. All right. Well, we can get into our...
Strong out the gate.
Yeah. This show is really starting off with some praising. Well, you start off first because the first movie I have, I'm not going to be praising. So you go ahead.
Who, me?
Yeah, that's fine.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm never first.
Well, that's because Sean's rude.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I will cover one that I recently got on Blu-ray. I used to own the DVD, and I had not seen in years, and that was Brian De Palma's Sisters.
Ooh.
From Criterion. And I had the old Criterion DVD. And I remember not loving it when I originally saw it. And lately I've been on a huge De Palma kick. He's one of those guys I've always liked, but there's been like 80% of his career that I never watched. And lately, I watched that documentary about him, and that's a good documentary because that made me nuts. I wanted to watch everything. So, the first time I saw Sisters, I think the only Brian De Palma movie I had seen was Carrie. And at this point, I've seen everything except, a small handful. And I appreciated it a little more. It's definitely not my favorite. I wouldn't even say it's top 5. But it's...
I wouldn't say top 5 either, but I like it. But yeah.
No, I like it too. It's a very unusual kind of twist on the caper, and of course, you have to mention the Hitchcock homage. I don't always like to pin that to him because that's the easy thing, but it was very North by North, or not North by, even Rear Window.
Yeah.
In this one, no, it's weird, but I don't know. There's kind of a sense of fun about it, just unraveling the mystery. I really like that. So no, I'm really glad to own it, and it looks gorgeous. But yeah, it's kind of in the middle for me with his work.
Yeah, I think I hold it to a little higher regard because that's De Palma's step out of comedy and more of his kind of mediocre comedies that he was doing, which Arrow just released, the Hi Mom, Wedding Party, and Greetings.
I just received that, but I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Which I do like the Wedding Party, but I feel like Sisters was his... I feel like that's when he was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do what I love. And therefore, after that, we got Obsession and, Carrie and, Thana of the Paradise. And then I think De Palma, it's like his moment where he cut the, kind of let the reins off and just kind of went wild.
It's like his coming out party.
Yeah.
Like, this is who I really am, bitches.
Yeah, no, I think that's what it was. And I think if it wasn't... I mean, I'm sure he would have done it anyway. But I think Sisters is that nice kind of padding to see where De Palma was going. Like, I feel like if you were in the theater and you saw Sisters, you were kind of like, okay, I can't wait to see what this guy does next.
That's true.
And I feel, and maybe, it's almost like retrospect, you enjoy Sisters more. I think, like, as a new movie, if it was a first-time director, like, only, a directorial debut and the only movie that the director did, it would just be whatever. But I think knowing it's De Palma and, like, thinking back, like, knowing his filmography now, looking back and saying, holy shit, that was like, when he completely went off the rails afterwards and just became like a true artist. So.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think it's just being so crazy about movies like Blowout and Dressed to Kill.
I think it's one of those things. I think, like, if you watch all of De Palma's movies and then you go back and watch Sisters, you're like, oh,
which is what happened.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, it's definitely not like you said, top 5, but it's De Palma's great. So
plus Margot Kidder's French Canadian accent. You can't miss that.
Anything Margot Kidder's in is great. She always makes me laugh. All right, so I had completely different movie here from De Palma. Dread Central's putting out some decent flicks here and there, and they had this movie called Lasso that I was very intrigued about because I saw a few people online that I trust say, "Oh man, you should watch Lasso." Mm-hmm. So I did. I love the last 30 minutes of Lasso, but I feel it's kind of a bore until it gets there. Lasso's about a group of people that go to the countryside to watch, this guy's helping with the elderly, and they take this bus with all these elderly people, and they go watch this show with cowboys and stuff like that, roping animals, everything like that. So they're about to leave, and there's this kind of masked cowboy that comes up and ropes somebody in, and then all the old people start getting butchered by these crazy cowboys. And it's like, oh shit. But then it's not as exciting as that sounds. Like it does that, and then it just kind of takes a nosedive again. It really kicks up the notches when you find out that the movie is really about these group of women that kind of band together to fucking kill all these redneck cowboys.
Well, you're always a big fan of that.
Yeah, and then it gets really good. Because it's like, it's like an older woman. There's this black lady that's involved. There's kind of like this smaller, like, Asian girl that is helping out. Like, it gets really brutal, and they just start brutalizing these cowboys and fighting back and trying to survive the night. And that's what I really enjoyed, but it took so long to get there that it's hard to recommend. Hey, watch this movie, and for an hour it's kind of boring, and then it really picks up and it gets good.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, but yeah, I can put in the time to get that kind of ending.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to watch something that's fun for the last 30 minutes, then yeah. It's because it's hard not to like recommend it, because it actually does end up getting really good. It's just, it takes a while. So anyways, yeah. Lasso, Dread Central, I like how they number their titles. This is their 9th release.
You're one of those spine number suckers?
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, the thing is Dread Central has put out a lot of great movies so far, so I'm okay with, if I have to buy something that I'm maybe not a fan of. For example, like this one, if I watch this, like, at the, in a festival, or I rented it online, I may not buy it, but being it's numbered, it got me. So, all right. What do you got?
Yeah, I don't have that at all. Like with the Vestron ones, they're ugly if you look at them. If you just look at the numbers.
Oh, they're so basic.
Like
yeah.
1, 6, 14.
Yeah.
So I feel like I should apologize. I'm sorry.
Well, as long as you said 14, because I'm a nut, and I know that's class 1999, so.
Oh, God,
I'm just gonna stop talking. All right, so what do you got next?
Well, I'm going to go off topic real quick. Cult of Chucky?
Yes.
That one was kind of the same way. Most people seem to like that. I was completely checked out through most of it. And then, like, maybe the last 20 minutes, that's what I wanted the entire movie.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I enjoy the movie, but yes, I completely 100% agree with you. Like, the last 20 minutes of that movie kicked up, like, 20 notches. And then I wanted the movie to keep going. But it didn't. It ended.
Yeah. I guess that's why we have sequels. So many sequels.
So many
and a TV
sequels.
Show.
Yeah. And a remake.
Yeah.
So.
What do you think about the remake?
I mean, I'm fine. One movie doesn't hurt another. Like, a new Chucky movie's not gonna discredit or take away the old ones. But I find it a little confusing that they're not using kind of a supernatural element. It's just like Chopping Mall, where
smart things gone out of control.
It's like I Chucky starts like going haywire. Like, that's fine, whatever. I just thought it would have been cool to maybe do the same thing, but like maybe switch gender roles. Have like Chucky as a girl, and maybe the Andy's a girl. That type of thing. I don't know.
So, like the Omen 4 TV movie. Exactly. Got it. Okay. So, I will move from Blu-rays.
I've actually never seen the Omen 4.
Oh, it's the Omen, but with a little girl.
Oh. I did not know that.
And in the early 90s, yeah. I think Canadian too, but I could be wrong on that. No, I have a huge stack of Blu-rays, and I'll respect that. But I just wanted to mention one really quick that I caught on Amazon Prime, and it feels like the kind of movie that won't be on there forever. So I'll mention it now, and it's Cast a Deadly Spell.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, I never saw that, and it really seems like the kind of movie I would have loved growing up. But it's kind of a horror comedy noir. It just plays with like every genre. And it has Fred Ward as the detective, Harry Lovecraft, and there's like a ton of random Lovecraft references on it. A young Julianne Moore being like the smoky femme fatale. Like little Clancy Brown. I mean, he's probably in his 30s, not that little. But right. David Warner. And it was just cool because, well, I think you tweeted about something. Do you know that whole genre of books where it's like urban fantasy?
Yeah.
Where you have,
I was trying to find one.
I'm an investigator in the world of vampires and werewolves. It's that kind of thing. It's just a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's directed by Martin Campbell as well, which is it's crazy, but it's also not crazy if you like actually look at Martin Campbell's full discography. I keep saying discography like they're all fucking singers.
Have you been getting into music lately?
I have. Music is...
Oh, well, there you go.
Music's my thing right now. But, like, Martin Campbell has, like, a really weird filmography. Like, he's done fucking Zorro and, like, 007.
Yeah.
And then he has, like, the awesome No Escape. Like, he's just all
Green
over the
Lantern?
place. What is it?
Green Lantern.
He directed Green Lantern? I forgot about that. Oh, man.
I think he's hoping most people do.
His last movie, what was was the Jackie Chan movie, which was really good.
Oh, he did The Foreigner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was
I heard really mixed things on that, but I love Jackie Chan so much, I'll see it anyway.
It was like Martin Campbell going back to form, is what it felt like.
Okay.
So
have you seen the sequel to this? I didn't even know there was one, but I tweeted about it. And Phil from Fangoria was like, have you seen the sequel with friggin' Dennis Hopper? I'm like, no, I have not.
Oh.
That exists too. And Paul Schrader did it.
Yeah, it's, shit, what is the name of the movie?
Witch Hunt.
Witch Hunt? That's not what I was thinking about. I don't know if I've actually seen this now. What year did it come out?
Well, the first one was early 90s. 94. Which one was 94?
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Because I remember the front, it's got like is it like a UFO in the back? It's like orange writing, like orange text.
I think it's a raven or a crow.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. It's
But yeah, visually you're there.
It's like set back like in the 60s or something. I don't know. He's a hard-boiled private detective, which is like the 40s and the 50s. Yeah. No, you know what?
So,
I don't know if I've actually... I'm like looking at it now. I don't know if I've actually seen it.
That one, the availability seems to be pretty sketchy, although I'm sure you could find it in half a second. But if you're like me and you really dig the genre-bending movies, any listeners out there, maybe Sean, maybe not, I would definitely check out Cast a Deadly Spell. The cast is amazing. It knows exactly what it is. It's intentionally funny. It's actually very clever, and if you do like noir films, it is right in that pocket. Yeah. So hopefully they'll both get a good release. That'd be nice.
HBO, I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want Night Flyer, but isn't that like Showtime maybe?
Yeah, it sucks because a lot of these things are labeled as TV movies, but they were on HBO at the time, and so most of them are rated R, and it's
not TV, it's HBO, guys.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I've always enjoyed that movie. So I have, since we're talking, I'll have to go back to the newer stuff. Out by RLJ Entertainment, which I tweeted about this the other day. Something that I really like about RLJ is that whenever you have one of their films, they have new trailers, but they also have trailers for older films that they released like 5 years ago. So they're constantly trying to promote even their older titles, which is fascinating and great. For those that don't know, most of the time after 2 months after a movie's out, no one gives a shit anymore.
Yeah, it's not food. It doesn't expire.
Yeah.
Get that catalog moving.
Yeah, so they like pimp out their old catalog, which is great. Monster Party was fun. It's a dinner party movie, which I'm always a fan of.
Oh, I just heard about this. So, I'm glad you saw it.
If you're a fan of dinner party movies, here you go. I haven't seen the trailer, so I don't know exactly what gives it away. But it is a group of thieves that specialize in burglaries, and they're younger. So they have kind of this setup that they're doing to go not host, but serve. What do you call those people? Like you hire servants, like people to like walk around with food and drinks. I don't know what they're called. Like like they're like for hire waitresses.
Wait staff. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like they're hire. Yeah, it's wait staff. So these people are throwing this big like little party, and they go to actually rob the place. But everybody inside turns out to be kind of like it's like a cult of serial killers. So they get trapped in a house full of serial killers. Which it has Robin Tunney, which is great. Julian McMahon, a couple of other famous faces that you'll see. But it's good. It starts off like the soundtrack is really great. Once it starts, it's very suspenseful because there's like this sense of dread that you know that's going to happen with these people, and it just builds up, and then it explodes, and it's really good. But it kind of I don't know, kind of maxes itself out for a moment, and then it gets kind of Chuglin again and gets pretty good. I said Chuglin just like Creedence Clearwater Revival. So
is it pretty straightforward, or is there a comedic element to it? Or okay,
no, it's not. And I thought there was going to be, but I mean, there's a comedic element because it's really dark at times. But for the most part, no. There's no like comic relief, anything like that. A few things that happen in the film that are a big surprise. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. But yeah, I think calling it Monster Party maybe give, I don't know, false kind of expectations for the audience when it's actually just a bunch of crazy people.
Yeah,
so
that's
I was expecting like because I think I may be spoiled the movie saying they were serial killers because the whole movie I'm trying to guess what they are.
No, I just saw like a little thing of it, and that was like in the first line. So
oh, okay, because I was like watching it, I was like they're either vampires or they're serial killers. So, but anyways, it's really good. Chris Hoffman directed it, and he had a movie called The Drifter a couple years ago that's pretty decent. So I'm kind of excited to see what he's got going on next. So,
is it anything like The Perfect Host?
Yes,
that David Hyde Pierce movie. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you like dinner party, and then when I say dinner party movies, I hope people know what I'm talking about. But like The Invitation, Coherence, The Perfect Host, they're all really good dinner party movies, which is, my thing.
Are those the kinds of movies you show at a dinner party?
No.
Or is that too themey for you?
Well, if you're having a dinner party, you're like, are watching movies?
You could try it. Do like a big projection.
I usually have just all day marathons, and I show dinner party movies at those. Because I host those marathons like every 4 months, and Coherence, The Invitation, all have played. So, and I love The Perfect Host. That was a nice little surprise to watch that movie.
Yeah. All right. So a respectful entry into the dinner party subgenre.
Yes.
Good to know. Okay, so I am not going to talk about a specific movie very much, but kind of a spat of releases, and I kind of want to get your opinion on them too.
Sure.
Okay, so Mill Creek has been releasing a few movies and re-releasing some.
Hey, I
and
have a bunch of those.
Yeah. I'm gonna get Happy Birthday to Me because I have it on like the double with When a Stranger Calls, and I don't like that. But they did Who's Harry Crumb with John Candy, and one of my favorites, Last Action Hero, and one of your favorites, Krull.
Yes.
So these are nothing added. They didn't do anything new. It's just
packaging.
Yeah, nifty little VHS style slipcovers. No numbers on the spine though.
Ooh.
Seems a little controversial for you.
Yeah. But yeah, so Last Action Hero, the only thing that is different from, because Last Action Hero, I believe this is like the third pressing for Last Action Hero. The first one I don't think is done by Mill Creek, but it's pan and scan, which is the worst fucking thing to do.
That should be illegal on Blu-ray. It should never have been done, but especially on Blu-ray.
So if you own, I don't think the old Mill Creek is like that. I think this is the exact same.
No, I had that, and it
so the very first Last Action Hero is pan and scan, which is the worst thing, because that's, if people don't know what that is, it's when the camera, like, it's like they have the camera pointing at the television and they're recording, and then they move the camera to the side to get another shot. It's the worst thing ever. It didn't really exist too long. The only, it's funny, the only time I remember it being, because I worked at Blockbuster, was that Kevin Costner movie Dragonfly. We got all pan and scan, and it was actually labeled on the side of the movie. So people would say, hey, that movie Dragonfly pan and scan? And I would always laugh, because they thought that was part of the
Dragonfly pan and scan.
Yeah, they would say Dragonfly pan and scan.
I wonder if there's anybody still walking around there that thinks that's still the title. God, I hope so.
Some old lady's telling her old lady friends, hey, I rented this movie years ago, Dragonfly pan and scan with Kevin Costner. It was great.
Having a hell of a time finding it again, though.
So, Last Action Hero is great. I've always loved that. Of course, like you mentioned, Krull. I think Krull is one of the most underrated action movies in the 80s. And it's one thing that I'm not supposed to like Krull, because I'm not a fan of that type of genre, per se. But I love the element of having Vikings and, like, Star Wars mixed together. I think that's a genius idea, and I love Krull. And I think the cinematography's great. The only thing I don't like about Krull is they have so many badass characters, but they don't spend enough time with them.
Yeah, there's a lot crammed in there.
And
I know what you mean, too, about those genre ones. Like, high fantasy and sword and sorcery, it's hard for me to get into those. Right. But this one has such a sense of humor, and it's balanced so well. It doesn't bloat you with, like, backstory or anything. It's just focused on being a really fun story.
In it too, and it's
it
looks fantastic. Like, as far as some of the science fiction characters that pop up, the sword and sandal characters that are, Liam Neeson's in it, and he's great with his pals. Which I wish they spent more time with those characters of his pals, because it was such kind of like a barrage of awesomeness, but we don't get enough time with them. I wish that movie was another 30 minutes.
I was going to say, do you think there's an extra long director's cut out there?
I don't know. It seems like that would be a big budget movie not to have something extra, but I've never heard of one. Another movie that was in that little batch of Mill Creek that I would recommend is one of my favorite sex comedies is Hard Bodies. Hard Bodies has been released before on Blu-ray, but this has kind of a nifty little. It has the old school cover again with suntan lotion on the stomach. But Hard Bodies is one of the better sex comedies, just because it's a little more positive on the sex stuff. And plus, it has Grant Kramer.
Yeah, that is always a plus.
Yeah, and he's great. But I've always really, really loved Hard Bodies. So, I mean, and Mill Creek is... Are you laughing at me because I say like I love Hard Bodies?
I love Hard Bodies.
I love Hard Bodies. And the cool thing about the Mill Creek stuff is that for collectors that are silly, they love these covers. And they really are, because they're very reminiscent of old school VHS. And both sides, the spines are different. One has the kind of the tape with the label, and the other one has, just the cover. So, kind of neat.
Yeah, if you are going to do a gimmick like that to re-release things, they actually put some thought into it, which I dig. And last year they released a little box set with like The Legend of Billie Jean and a bunch of Spring Break movies.
Yeah, that was another one of those. Yeah, they did perfect. So
yeah,
I imagine
is cute.
Yeah, everything they're gonna kind of re-release, I think. So I'll eventually kind of switch out, because I'm not a big fan of those discs with 6 movies on it.
No, yeah.
I don't know, I'm weird. But anyways.
Well, I feel like if you're into numbered spines, you probably don't like a bunch of movies crammed on one disc. No. I feel like that's just how that brain's going to work.
Yeah.
But I finally got to see who's a Harry Crumb, and I love John Candy. I grew up on John Candy.
I haven't seen that movie yet at all.
God, the cast is nuts. It's fun. There's some objectionable things in there, but it's an 80s comedy, so you kind of have to take it. But what's the one where he writes for a soap opera? I just recently saw that for the first time too.
Starts with a D. Delirious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like I watched Camp Candy, the cartoon, as a kid, but then he has these big movies in his career. I'm just now getting
I actually have not seen Harry Crumb, so I should watch it. I have it. I just haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, no, it's just one of those bonkers, super, super, super high concept, almost to the point where it's hard to follow the plot, because they're just throwing so much in there. But it's fun. Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
I don't know. I'd probably put it in kind of the Fletch family.
Oh, I like some Fletch. All right. So since we're on Mill Creek, I have another one, because every 5 years they re-release Can't Hardly Wait on Blu-ray. But this one actually has all the special features that has existed, because this has been out multiple times on Blu-ray, but I think this time they actually have everything together. Can't Hardly Wait has been a favorite of mine for a long, long, long time. I'm not a fan of teen comedies, but this was one of the first of its kind. So it didn't it has the normal tropes, but it was the one that kind of created that. It blended kind of the 90s, or I guess it fused the 90s and the 80s together, because it has a lot of 80s kind of qualities, but it also has that new stuff that was happening. But it was also kind of almost turn of the century too, because I mean, this was made in like 97 or 98. But
98. It just turned 30, and that blows my mind.
That would be 20. Right? Yeah. 20 years. 98. 2000.
Okay. No. Yeah, I know.
I was like, holy shit. Did I just age 10 years through a comment? I was like, wait a second. But it's one of those movies
I feel better about 20 years now.
I feel great right now. I'm like, yes, 20 years. I'm
I'm a
celebrating a
baby.
movie that's only 20 years old. I feel 20 again. But Can't Hardly Wait's. There's so many things to like about Can't Hardly Wait. One is just Ethan Embry is just so likable as Preston Myers.
I was
You
in
know,
love with him.
yeah,
in that
Jennifer Love
movie.
Hewitt is Amanda Beckett. We have Seth Green as Kenny, Special K. Charlie Corsmo, who actually ended up working for like NASA or some shit. Who plays?
Yeah, he's actually the smart guy in real life.
Yeah,
Plays the nerd in the movie.
Yeah, and he was actually a big nerd, but he ended up being super successful. But yeah, William Lichter. But yeah, it's just everything about the film as far as like being friends and dealing with relationships, just all in like one night. And I think it does a very good job of making it real, but also at this time making it movie world to where, it's kind of ridiculous in the sense. But it's believable. And I've always admired the film, and plus I just think it's fucking funny. So, anyways, and there's also like throughout the film, there's so many little like at the time, we also have to think like they're not major stars now, but like after Can't Hardly Wait, for the next few years, they were very popular. Like Jamie Priestley was in it. Breckin Meyer had a short part. Sean Patrick something. And it was in Save the Last Dance and like Halloween Resurrection and stuff like that. So there's like all these little parts where these actors just had like minor roles. Like Clea Duvall is in it too, and then she went on like to do The Faculty and a few other things. But yeah,
Mary Cherry from Popular.
What is
saying
that?
hey to my popular. It was a TV show in like the early 2000s where who's the guy that he does American Horror Story?
I don't know anything about American Horror Story.
Well, the guy who created that, it was his really weird, twisted take on a teen high school TV show back then. No, like they had a slasher movie episode. They had like a Whatever Happened to Baby Jane episode. I love Popular. That is an underrated show. 2 seasons.
Big
That's all we
TV
got.
show fan, so I've never seen that. So, all right. So what else you got?
That's right. I'm doing a Just the Discs on Can't Hardly Wait.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad I got the decade thing mistake out of the way.
Let's use that for the shitty show.
No.
This is just the buffer. This is practice round.
This is my practice, actually. Okay, so Mr. Lucio Fulci has they've been releasing him a little bit more. It's interesting because when I think back to like the DVD releasing days, he was big, especially with like Blue Underground.
Oh yeah, totally.
Anchor Bay / but it kind of just seemed to be a lot of like zombie over and over again. And I picked up Murder Rock from Scorpion. And I don't remember really seeing that. I'm sure
it had like a double DVD disc back in the day.
Double.
Yeah, I think it was a double disc. I ended up selling mine right when that was announced, and I made a lot of money off of it. Because it was like super.
I like that you always have to mention that. That's actually one of my favorite things.
I love taking advantage of people. But anyways, yeah, no, I go ahead, talk about Murder Rock, and I'll tell you a story.
No, you can tell me the story.
Tell you a story. I'll make you laugh. So,
Okay.
Like I said, I have these marathons that we do like every 4 months. So I had this marathon planned where I did, it was for my birthday, actually. And I had, I don't know, it was like maybe 8 or 9 people there. And I screened Murder Rock. I have a picture that I took. I got to stand up and take a picture of the entire crowd with 8 or 9 people, all sound asleep.
Oh no!
I put
I
everybody
thought you were
to
going to
sleep.
say like wearing sweatpants and dancing.
No, everybody, like, there was a moment in that movie where everybody was sleeping. Like, I was able to get up and take a picture and no one noticed. And I was like, shit, no one fucking likes Murder Rock.
Tough crowd.
Yeah.
Do you?
I like Murder Rock because I think it's a really good fever dream giallo, and it's ridiculous. So, I'm a big fan of Murder Rock.
I am too. I didn't know what to expect. And one of the titles being Slash Dance, I'm like, well, I could probably put together a little bit, but
yeah,
it was an interesting period for Fulci. But I enjoyed it, and I wish Maniac was in this movie instead of Flashdance. It'd be more appropriate.
Agreed.
What are you gonna do? I think some people are debating, especially Scorpion discs. They tend to not really come down in price very often. So I've actually had a lot of people ask me about it.
It's like $26, I think.
Yeah. And I know for a lot of people, I think like 20 is their ceiling. And that can be kind of rough when you're into the more cult kind of film thing. I said that well. So I would recommend it. Completists, they already have it. They don't need me telling them. If you have a sense of humor and a really high tolerance for wackiness, I think there's some people they like the more, it's hard for me to say the more sober side of giallo, because does that even exist?
No. Well, I think it does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, there's different flavors. This is like the wacky Kool-Aid flavor. So I really liked it. You can come over, you can watch my copy, decide if you want to buy it. I'm just kidding. That's not going to happen. But I also got a Perversion Story that Mondo Macabro released.
I like that one.
Yeah, and yeah, there's like a couple decades in between those. So it was interesting
30
seeing
years?
that. Yeah, pretty. Good Lord. What a career. Yeah, that one is much more traditional, and that's kind of style over everything else. I think I had more fun with Murder Rock.
Yeah.
Overall. But I'm enjoying it. I've always been like, well, when I first started getting to these movies, people would be like, well, are you a Fulci girl or an Argento girl? I'm like, what? You have to pick Argento. And it turns out, no, that's just stupid things people say when you're like 18.
Yeah. Oh,
you can like everything.
People say it now. What are you talking about? There was just like a poll on Twitter the other day where it was like Fulci or Argento. I was like, both, bitch. Like, what the fuck? They're completely different filmmakers. Like, I don't even know why you're putting them in the same.
They're from the same country. There you go.
They're Italians. Whoopie ding ding. Like, let's move on.
Whoopie ding ding. I'm taking that. I like that. No, but I definitely dove into the Argento pool like years and years and years before, because I think I saw Zombie, and then maybe the year after that I finally saw The Beyond, which I loved. Yeah. And then I don't think I saw anything else for years. And then I finally started catching up, and now I feel like all of these more, I wouldn't say obscure, but they're definitely not as well known parts of his career. I get it. Like, I'm just falling more and more in love with him and how versatile he was. He's just brave. Like, he really didn't give a shit, I don't think.
Crazy.
Not in the way of not caring about it, but if he had an idea, he's like, yeah, why not?
Well, I actually have a little bit of Fulci insight for that.
Yeah.
If you care.
Yeah, I love insight.
To hear. So, Fulci obviously is a fantastic filmmaker. Mm-hmm. And he's definitely one of my favorites. But Fulci was very strong with his comedies, and then he went into like crime and then westerns, And then he kind of got into horror a little bit in the 70s with Lizard and, Dracula in Provinces and, The Psychic and all of that stuff. He was still doing kind of Westerns because he even had like a slasher Western, The Four of the Apocalypse and things like that. So, but he really was strong in the 80s doing some horror. But if you notice, right after I would say the New York Ripper, Fulci started getting a little bit crazier. So we have Manhattan Baby, we have Warriors of like 2072, Murder Rock, Devil's Honey, House of Clocks, Cat in the Brain, Voices from Beyond, and stuff like that. Well, everybody knows Manhattan Baby's like fucking insane. It's one of the most.
I love movies. Manhattan Baby,
but yeah, it's great. But at that time, Fulci was working with Dardano Sacchietti, which was his main screenwriter. Manhattan Baby was their falling out. Dardano was very upset with how Manhattan Baby came out. That was not his vision. And Fulci was an asshole, which is known in the film world that Fulci was a dick. But they butted heads so much that they quit working together. And the reason why they worked together for so long is because they were super successful. And Dardano Sacchietti was one of the biggest Italian screenwriters. Still one of the biggest screenwriters if you look at his filmography. Any super popular Italian movie, Sacchietti wrote it. And that goes for all filmmakers. He worked with Baito, with Argento. He worked with everybody. But aside from Warriors of 2072, which Sacchietti wrote too, after that, he never worked with Sacchietti again. So anything after that, Fulci was writing himself. And that's when Fulci became Fulci and really started going crazy. Because everything that he wrote after that is kind of insane. I mean,
do you think it's that he went crazy, or he just didn't have that?
I don't think he had anybody to bring him, roll him back in.
Yeah.
Because Fulci did what he wanted to, but if you look at even Touch of Death and stuff like that, which was made for TV, but it was unrated, of course. And the Sweet House of Horrors, House of Clocks, even with the fucking old people that are killing, some of his stuff is really crazy. And
I'm a big fan of the crazy period.
And
when you're listing them off,
I really do love it. I love Fulci. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I love the craziness. But there's a change in method of filmmaking when he lost Sacchietti. And
now that you say that, absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it's a good thing. But, Sacchietti obviously didn't hurt at all because he went on to do even bigger and better things. And, he's still screenwriting to this day. I actually got to talk with him last year, which was kind of a big deal for me because he's like a hero of mine. But he didn't have very nice things to say about Lucio Fulci to the point where he almost hated him. But, anyways... that was I think that's one of the reasons why, everybody talks about those movies that are after Manhattan Baby. But that's the reason why. It was all because of he was lost Sacchietti, and I think there was definitely a good partnership between them, even if they didn't get along. I think they were able to work with one another perfectly to create some iconic films. And then Fulci just did his own thing because he could. He was extremely successful. So...
Yeah, I do love looking at those careers where you can really see the different segments and the different time periods. And if you're lucky enough to have a career that can span decades and genres like that, that's so rare and so incredible. And it's cool when you kind of learn what happened behind the scenes. You're like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, that's why that changed. I love that.
Yeah, no.
Thank you, Brad. That was very educational.
Well, you're welcome. And off to my favorite Fulci movie. And
Yes.
yes, it's super cliche, and I will
Mm-hmm.
always love it because each time I watch it, I feel like I'm watching it for the first time. It is one of the very first movies I saw on my own in horror, and also written by Saggietti, who did not take credit for it, by the way, because he rewrote the entire script, was Lucio Fulci's Zombie. Which is, even if I've bought this movie 1,000 fucking times on Blu-ray already, I had to pick up the new Blue Underground 20 disc release of whatever, how many discs this is. But it's nice because it really is a great 4K restoration. Which, I mean, you say 4K, it's just a good restoration. But I've owned the Arrow disc, I own the old Blue Underground. I even had that one that was from Italy. I can't think of who put it out. But yeah, I will always go back to Zombie. I know that's cliche, being Fulci.
It's great.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
are you gonna pretend it's not great because it's popular? No.
No. It's one of those movies that no matter, like, I can watch Fulci anytime, but I can't rewatch some of the movies over and over again.
Yeah.
Like every year, I have to give a break. I would say I do kind of flip back and forth with my favorite Fulci movie is like 4 of the Apocalypse and Zombie. I've said 4 as the Apocalypse is my favorite Fulci before, probably. So I know that you're probably like, well, no one's listening. But anyways, like somebody on the keyboard, hey, Brad said this and like...
Hey, my mom will listen. At least we have her.
Brad said this in 2012, that 4 of the Apocalypse is his favorite Fulci movie. Now he's saying
Let me get out my notebook.
So, yeah, I mean, 4 of the Apocalypse is definitely one. I think it's fucking great because he blended horror and westerns perfectly. But Zombie is just always... It's just so iconic. There's just so many great moments in the film. It's got the perfect soundtrack. No matter how... I put it up there with Phantasm. I can watch Phantasm a million times. I can watch it every fucking month. It doesn't bother me. And it's weird. There's a couple movies like that where I start it and then I look at the clock and I'm like, this movie's over already. Like, time just flies by no matter how many times I watch it. So, anyways, yeah, it looks fantastic. Honestly, it's the best it's ever looked, and I've bought the movie a million times.
Yeah. So I have the old Blue Underground one, and I said, I love this movie, but I'm okay with it. Plus, I owned it like 3 times on DVD. So even though I crave it, because that's the kind of maniacs we are if you're into Blu-rays, I've been talking myself out of it. So do I need it?
I think so. Because it is better.
Like it's a noticeable difference with the restoration.
It's the sound.
Okay.
It's the sound.
Okay.
If you put them side by side, you might be able to notice the difference. Because there's certain shot, like, I mean, you watch a lot of Italian movies, so you know that there's like kind of this haze that's over the characters a lot. Looks like a soap opera.
The dialogue fog.
So like, but it makes everything a little bit clearer. Because I always feel like something's out of focus in those shots. But it's not. It's just the cinematography. It's like, it's not out of focus, it's just how it looks, and that's just their style. But when you actually look at this one, every scene looks clear that's at daytime. Which, I mean, the whole movie basically takes place during the day. But, yeah, it looks a little bit more crisp. But it's the sound that is different to me. Like, when that boom, boom, boom comes in, like, it just shook everything. And I was like, oh, man, I don't remember the old movies doing that. So...
Damn it. I guess I have to get it. I should probably grab it before they get stupid expensive, huh?
Yeah. And yeah, it's
at least there's 3 different covers I can choose from.
True, and it also has the soundtrack in it too.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I did pick up Maniac.
Yeah, I actually have that too.
Cool. Let's talk about Maniac.
I wanted to say that it actually has an essay written by Stephen Thrower in the zombie thing too, so it's really nice.
Yeah, he's one of the names where you're like, yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to read that. I'm weird. I take out booklets that have essays and I have them in a pile and I just read them when I have time and then I put them back in the disc.
I read
The
them when I go to the
thrower
bathroom. I have them too. I have them in a little pile
in
and I
your.
read them when I go to the bathroom.
Okay. Well, anyone buying Blu-rays from Brad, now you know where they were.
They've been in the potty. So, all right. Let's talk about Maniac. Another glorious. Well, actually, I didn't. This was on Blu-ray before, right? By Blue Underground.
Well, I was going to say, I love Joe Spinell. This movie breaks my heart. I love Carolyn Monroe, of course, but I have never owned this ever in my life on any format.
See, I just owned it on DVD, so it wasn't that big of a deal for me to pick up the Blu-ray.
Yeah, same here. No, this was like, finally, the celebration I deserve to finally own Maniac. A lenticular cover. That's right. I want to see that bulge move around. That's for me. So.
Oh my god, the bulge is so noticeable. I didn't even notice that. Jesus.
I wonder if there's some stores where they just put the price sticker just over that section.
Yeah, I don't ever remember that before. All right, there you go, 3D. Got poked in the eye almost looking at the fucking cover now.
I'm glad I could help bring that to light. But yeah, it's all region, 3 discs, and I was really interested because again they're like touting a amazing new restoration. I'm like, this is, it's one of the movies where it's supposed to be gritty. It's not supposed to be a clean looking movie.
It does.
So I was kind of curious about how. That's what I was gonna say. Like, it looks like film. Mm-hmm. It looks exactly the way it's supposed to, but beautiful. They found that wonderful balance. It just made me so happy. It looks exactly the way you'd want it to. Yep. There's not like a beauty filter or anything slapped over it. It's Maniac. It's so Maniac. It's kind of like the Arrow release of Driller Killer.
Oh my god, I was just about to say that.
I kind of had the same worry, but it's the same deal.
Yeah, no, it makes you feel bad. It makes you feel gross.
Yeah. Gritty, stabby New York City movies.
I can't wait until Vice Squad gets released.
I've never seen that one. So that's like right in there with them?
Yeah, it is awful. Ooh. It is such a fucking awful. Like,
would you put New York Ripper in there?
No.
Even though it's made by an Italian?
No.
That movie makes me feel gritty and terrible, though, but in a different way. So I agree with you.
Because it has the Donald Duck voice.
Yes, Donald Duck is very uncomfortable, specifically.
Yeah, Vice Squad is just... Vice Squad's just mean to women, but, I mean, cool. It's... Yeah. Wow, woohoo!
Looking forward to that fun time.
But it's such a good movie in the sense of, like, just being brutal New York. Because it's about a Wings Hauser is a fucking pimp who's after this girl, and he's do anything to fucking kill her. But, like, when the girl goes to, like, find help anywhere, she's just treated like shit because she's a prostitute. So, like, the cops won't even help her. It's just awful, but it's such a good and fucking gritty New York movie. But, anyways.
You know what? So, of course, Larry Cohen is kind of like the king of filming in New York City. But when I kind of think about films in that vein, special effects is the one that, for whatever reason, stands out the most to me. I feel like that one kind of captured, like, the back alleys the best.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of street scenes when them standing outside that building and just walking around and having conversations. So it kind of gets you... kind of what New York was like on the street, because I love how it looks. Everything looks dirty. Everything looks freezing cold. It just looks miserable, and you kind of and you feel that in the movie. You know,
and I romanticize it though. I'm like, oh, that's when it was real, man. Not today. Not with Bubba Gump Shrimp on Times Square, man.
No, touche. I hear you. I like that too.
Did you ever see the documentary about Deep Throat? I'm trying to think of the name. I loved the footage they had of just like people like instead of people sneak into the porno theater, just like everyday
Oh no,
people
yeah,
lined
they're
up
just
around
lined
the
up and they
block.
interview like an old lady, and she's like, "I wanted to watch a porno."
Everybody's talking about it.
Yeah,
I'll
like it was just
see.
normal thing. It
Oh,
was just
so
like a
good.
normal thing you just see fucking Deep Throat like on a Saturday night. Hey kids, see you later. We're gonna go
God.
watch Linda Lovelace.
What
You know, yeah,
a pop culture moment.
yeah. It's a
Jesus.
really good doc. I love that. Since we're talking about grittiness and awfulness, Artsploitation put out a DVD, which I'm surprised they didn't put this out on Blu-ray because I don't know. It just
Really?
seems...
You've dealt with Walmart and their DVD policy, Brad. I feel like you should understand that.
Yeah, no, I mean it makes sense to put stuff on DVD still, as far as like a distributor, but they didn't put this on Blue at all, so it was kind of weird because Artsploitation's kind of doing Blu-rays now, like all the time, and this seems like it would be a bigger sell for them if they did it. But it was Christmas Blood, so it is a it's fucked up. It's a Norwegian Christmas movie about a killer who has a list, and he will do anything to kill everybody on this list. And he is captured, and he escapes, and he just goes on a fucking rampage, just slaughtering people. The first 5 minutes of this movie, you just know that this movie does not fuck around because a little child is like split in two. Like the axe
There you go.
head and like split and like opens up. Like it's like, oh my god, what the fuck?
I'm such a sucker for that effect where you just see the line and then bloop.
Yeah, no, it's great. But it's just so mean. And it's just a bunch of people that are trying to have a good time that get across Santa's path, and he just butchers them. I mean, there's just buckets of blood being poured on people. It's insane. I wouldn't say it's like a great movie, but it's definitely a lot of fun. And I could see myself revisiting it probably every other like Christmas or something like that. Like it has a lot of Christmas charm to it, so it just doesn't use it kind of as a small catalyst to tell a story. It actually is Christmas time. And Christmas lights, Christmas music, and plenty of Santa with axes and killing people. So, and it's completely over the top. It's very reminiscent of like 80s slashers to where it's just absolutely ridiculous. Like, someone gets stabbed in the back, but like a gallon of blood gets poured on somebody, and it's just
you can like hear the rib cage.
Yeah, it's just, and then you just look and it's just really an axe in the back, but somehow it produced all this blood. But yeah, it's fun nonetheless, and plus the director's done a couple other brutal horror films that are decent. So definitely pick it up, or maybe if it's on VOD, rent it. So.
Yeah, that sounds like the kind of thing I'd add to my Christmas horror rotation. I refuse to watch holiday movies not in the holiday. That's just me.
Yeah.
So
I kind of think I'm the same way to save it. Yeah, the only thing that I probably watch is horror films. Not in October. But no,
I'll just be watching like an action movie and they'll walk by a mall Santa. I'll be like, you tricked me. God damn it, it's August right now. But I'm a normal person.
Yeah.
No, okay, so for speaking of, I got a gift of the Wreck collection.
Whoa.
From Scream Factory, which I wasn't going to get. I saw they released it. I was like, oh, cool. I liked Wreck a lot. I even liked the remake of it because it's basically the exact same movie, except no subtitles. But I like. Did you get it?
No, I own all the Wreck movies on the E1.
Is it like import DVD?
No, the E1 Blu-rays.
Okay.
Yeah, the same company put them all out. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think they indicated any of the extras were new. They all pretty much have, or at least the first one has the commentary, and they all have documentaries of like behind the scenes that are about half an hour to an hour. But I had only seen the first one, and what a trip this series is.
Yeah. No, the second one is by far like surpasses the first one, but I think the third one's the
Really?
best.
Wait, you think the third one's the best?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I was trying to get the consensus on how people felt about this series.
I'm
I
alone
love the
on
first
third
one. I think
I'm totally alone unless you like the third one as much as me. Like, I don't know anybody that
I will
actually
get
likes
to
the
it.
third one. Okay,
I love the
I'm waiting.
first one. I think it's perfect. It's just, ooh, it gets me tense every time I see it. Rec 2 is good. One of the reasons why I love the first one so much is they take time to set up the characters. I actually feel terrible when they're killed and get infected. But in the second one, they're all soldiers, so they kind of look alike, and the pace is just like, well, the first one was this way. We have to make it all quicker now. And it has a lot of great moments, and it's still keeping in the theme for the most part, but it just didn't click with me. The third one, they kind of were like, hey, we're recording a wedding, and then they just throw it out the window. It becomes a regular movie, and I love the third one. So you're not alone.
Good.
Yeah. No, the third one is a trip. I think I mentioned on Twitter, it was like kind of Peter Jackson in there. It makes absolutely no sense following Rec 1 and 2. And people don't seem to like it very much, at least if they're really into the first two.
Yeah.
If you're a stickler for consistency, 3 and 4 are nightmares, absolute nightmares. 4, I think there's like a couple seconds of security cam footage on a boat. And then that's it. It's a regular movie, but it's called Rec 4.
Yeah, I hate the fourth one.
It's so insane. I'm looking at the cover, and it just says "Welcome on board."
Yeah. And
okay, that doesn't sound like any.
Give me a break.
I love zombie monkeys, but it doesn't make sense in the movie. But no, I was. It's not a Rec movie. They have characters in it that reference the past movies, and almost feels like a joke. But I will admit,
yeah, it's
it's
just the surviving the survivor aspect.
It could be any movie. It could be a standalone. It could be part of any number, like, random zombie series. But I will admit, the end I thought was pretty tense. I thought they built it up. It was, I don't know. It's kind of like Titanic with zombies a little bit. I think there's even like a you jump, I jump moment, which I appreciated when like you're about to get your head ripped off. So it's a very uneven series, but overall, if you're kind of open-minded and you like going on a journey, yeah, it's a journey. I don't know how you get from Rec to zombie monkeys on a boat.
Yeah,
they did it.
Yep. No, I know. It's bad.
So, yeah, there's a good amount of extras, but it seems like they're all ported over. So, I think if you already have the set Brad, what's your name? Brad has?
Yeah, Brad has.
Then you're good.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'm going to pick something here that is kind of off, I guess, out of the ordinary. This was on my top 20 list for the year. I highly recommend this movie. It is called Pickings. Pickings. Pickings is absolutely outstanding. It's a neo-noir spaghetti western mixed with elements of like comic book, like Sin City. it's about this mom who owns this bar, and she has had a fucked up past, and she's met by these people that are knocking at her door that know who she is, and then it just kind of goes from there. But it is beautiful. It's a beautiful movie. There's a thing in the movie about these characters called the Three Dames, and then after the movie was over, I like found the director. I was like, "Are you making a Three Dames movie? Because that would be perfect." But it's like every character in the film you kind of like, and they all have this like thing. But it's one of those movies that just kind of just came out, and then no one knew about it. I actually got it in the mail as a screener. And I did not know what it was. I didn't request it. I don't know how these people got my information. I just got a movie in the mail. And like one day I was bored and it was like the next thing. And it was like, I looked at it and read the back and it was like neo-noir meets spaghetti western. Okay, that's probably a bunch of bullshit in some indie movie. And I watched it and it is an indie movie, but it is like perfect filmmaking.
That sucks. Because this sounds like the exact kind of movie I love, and I have not heard of it before.
Yeah, no, it's great. I've tweeted about it a few times, but I just don't think there's like because there's no star, like there's no one in it, like as far as anybody that's notable, like no familiar faces, no cameos. It's like the filmmaker's like directorial debut. It's just out of nowhere, but it's so fucking good. The transitions, everything about this movie is really great. So if you don't want to pick up the Blu-ray, at least, you can rent it maybe on VOD if it's on there. But yeah, if you like anything that I just mentioned, then it's definitely you. Like I said, it's definitely so many Western aspects to it. It's of course neo-noir because of the mobsters and gangsters aspect. It gets pretty violent at times. And like I said, it's very reminiscent to like the effects in like Sin City in order to tell a story. So yeah, like I said, it was my top 20. It blew me away. So I highly, highly recommend Pickings. So
can I borrow your screener?
Sure.
Thanks. I just think we should cover all the formats.
Yeah. And I want to say... Yeah, and I want to even say this is a BDR. Like it's just a poorly put together package. Like I wish I would have known about this movie for Wild Eye because we actually would have done it justice. But it's this.
Oh.
It's this like it's honestly even the insert is that shitty paper. Like even the words are blurred in the back because it's just printed off a fucking printer at home. And it's distributed.
I like that you've picked a DVD only release and now you have like a printed off BDR release. That's cool. I think that's why people like you.
What is it?
That on your list you have like a DVD only release and now you have like a printed off BDR release on your list.
And it's distributed by Dark Passage Films, which I don't know whatever, but Dark Passage, you kind of suck at doing this, and you need to let professionals do it. Because this movie is really good, and it's... I'm going to wait 5 years, and then I'm going to pick it up and give it the release it deserves. So,
are you going to swoop in on the sequels? Are we courting them right now?
Like, if he makes a Three Dames movie, I'll flip out. But why would he? Because no one knows about this fucking movie. So, anyways... Why you talk about your next movie? I'm going to see if it's on Vudu at least.
Okay, cool. Well, while he's championing a really cool new movie, I will be an asshole and talk about an old one. Second Sight released a limited edition. They always do a standard one. You don't have to worry about it if you don't get this. But When a Stranger Calls.
Wait, just pick that up. It's got the sequel too, right?
Yeah, and it has When a Stranger Calls Back on it. Now, you can't tell because on the box it doesn't mention the sequel. Inside it doesn't. You have to read down. When I first got it, I was actually worried I ordered the wrong thing because it didn't mention it. But it is there, and it has a great booklet. It has a poster. I don't care about posters, but it's nice it's there. Yeah, I had seen When a Stranger Calls, which in a way it's such a classic, almost folk tale, fairy tale, slasher, babysitter alone story, with just the right amount of subversion in it that I don't, because I actually saw the remake of it before I saw the original. And I feel like the remake, when you tell someone the one line, the basic plot, their brain will automatically go with what the remake did. So I was like, yep, this movie is exactly what I thought it'd be, like a babysitter running from the guy the entire movie. And seeing the original afterwards, I was like, oh no, they're actually doing some unusual things here. And When a Stranger Calls Back goes a completely different direction. And then it becomes kind of an action movie. So
I want to say that I watched both of these like just a few years ago, and I was really shocked by the sequel because the sequel is like really different, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I honestly I want to say that I really liked both of these movies, but I can't remember a goddamn thing about them. So I picked up the Second Sight because I think I actually saw a picture of you. You took a picture or something on Twitter, and I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, I gotta pick that up." And I bought it like it's cheap. It was like $35 or something. So
I think I got for under 20 on Amazon UK. But yeah, I've been really liking the Second Sight releases. They did a great job with Extra and The Changeling. And this is no different. It has new interviews. I love Carol Kane, and she's on here, thankfully. It'd actually break my heart if seeing her on Kimmy Schmidt and not having time to do extra features for When a Stranger Calls. But thankfully, she didn't break my heart.
Yep.
So yeah, whether you're revisiting these or you've only seen the first one or you've never seen them, it's a beautiful set. It's very economical, I think. And I don't know, I feel like When a Stranger Calls is such a cornerstone with horror movies and the tropes and everything. You need to get it. It's nutritional.
I'm excited to watch it. Willow's never seen it, so I'll watch it with her. Pickings is available on Amazon Prime. So there you go.
Hey, all right. I may watch that tomorrow.
So I have something I was very excited about was 1956 Invasion of the Body Snatchers on Blu-ray.
Ooh,
which was released by Olive Signature, which I'm glad they're not done because they were really hot there for a little bit and then they just kind of stopped.
Oh, are they in danger of knocking that off?
I don't know. It's just that there was like, I want to say like maybe 6 or 7 releases like within maybe like 8 months, and then they had one more, and then I just haven't heard from them in a few months. So like it was just odd. So I don't know if they're gearing up because I mean Olive's obviously putting a lot of stuff out. Well, actually, no. You know what? Olive's kind of slowed down too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a little bit.
So maybe it's just. I think it's because they're taking more time with it because Olive obviously just takes HD masters and puts them on Blu-ray and they're cheap, which is great. That's fine. But Olive has this signature series where they kind of go all out and they pack these discs full of just random shit, and it's really great.
Yeah, like they did Elaine May's A New Leaf and killed it. It was like Criterion level with the illustration and the extras.
Yeah, and they had they did Macbeth. They did what's that super feminist western?
Johnny Guitar.
Yeah, they did that. And then like they have Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which like I picked it up and I love all the Invasion of the Body Snatchers movies.
Me too.
what year it is. I fucking love Invasion. The Abel Ferrara film, the one from the 70s with Sutherland, and this one. I think they're all great. So like this one has, check this shit out. It has audio commentary by Richard Harlan Smith, which is great.
Wow.
It has audio commentary with two of the actors and Joe Dante.
What?
And then it has a small doc featurette with Larry Cohen and Joe Dante.
Oh man, I have an old DVD. I was gonna upgrade it anyway. I didn't know that.
And then there's another. There's a Sleep No More documentary that features the actors Stuart Gordon, John Landis, and Mick Garris.
Good Lord!
Like like the features on this. There's 1, 2. Well, I mean, New Restoration is one, but yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11. So 11 like video features. And then there's like original theatrical trailer, essay from a film programmer, and a gallery of rare documents detailing aspects of the film's production. So, but yeah, it's just fucking loaded. And that's exactly what Olive Signature Series does every goddamn time they release something. It's just stacked like this. And that's what I like, because, I mean, obviously, the filmmakers of something that's older, it's kind of hard to get. It's kind of hard to get interviews and everything like that, because everybody's fucking dead. So I'm like, okay, well, if you can't go that, find people that love the movie. Find film historians. Ask them about the movie, especially something as important as Invasion of the Body Snatchers, because it was one of those movies that changed horror.
Well, it sounds like they got all the babies of that movie, like Joe Dante, when they probably saw it in the cinema as a kid,
it's just those little
and became
monster
filmmakers.
sci-fi movies that inspire these, obviously kids that have grown up to be, amazing filmmakers. So yeah, the transfer is absolutely glorious. So there's that. But yeah, it's anything that's all of the Signature Series, I highly recommend, because even if it's a film that you don't know. Oh, they did High Noon too, which isn't, the special features on there are incredible. And I'm not even a special features guy. I really don't care. But when you have stuff like with Larry Cohen, like talking about a movie, I don't give a shit what it is. It could be fucking Bambi. I'll listen to fucking Larry Cohen talk about Bambi because Larry Cohen's great. He speaks way better than I do. So maybe I should just have Larry Cohen take over the Screamcast.
That's an option?
I'm going to call him. I'll be right back.
That would be great.
But yeah, thank you. Invasion of the Body Snatchers is, number one, first off, a great movie, but also Olive kills it with the special features with that. And I'm not sure if there was another release with this, but everything looked new as far as how the camera, it didn't look like old archival stuff, so...
I'll do a quick shout out to the King Cohen documentary that came out last year, which is wonderful.
I programmed that at the Florida Film Festival.
Well, because you have good taste.
Yeah, I love that doc. It's fucking 2 hours, too, and it's glorious 2 hours.
I know, because, yeah, if you're a huge fan of him, like we are, I listen to all of his commentaries, whatever he does. So he'll launch into a story I'm familiar with, and I'm fine hearing it because he's so charming. But then they'll be like, and then they'll talk to all these people connected to it and have, like, footage of it. I'm like, whoa, it's so great.
Yeah, the banter between him and Fred Williamson in that doc is great.
Oh my god.
Like, they just contradict each other constantly. It's so fucking good. He's like, that's not the way Larry said. But anyways.
I think I'm just going to do one more release.
Okay.
How much is left in your pile?
Let's just say this will be the ending of the show.
Okay, but
I'll do like
I think
one
we're
or two
all
more.
Curious what you actually have there.
Oh, I have quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I would go from the last show that we had to like the movies that are beside me, I probably have like 50 movies. So it's ridiculous. I will give you a clue of what's happening in my life. All right. It is, what's today? January 10th?
January 10th.
It is
Tomorrow's my dad's birthday.
Happy birthday. So, it is January 10th. How many movies do you think I've actually seen already this year?
In 10 days.
In 10 days.
It's you.
I'm also programming Florida Film Festival now, so it's a little bit more excessive than normal.
50.
40.
Ha! I was going to guess 40, and then you mentioned the film festival. I'm like, ooh, he's got to cram him in. He's not even sleeping.
Yeah, no, it's no sleep. But yeah, it's
wow,
it's ridiculous.
So you're averaging 4 a day.
Yeah, which is why I probably hit over 1,400 last year. So, needless to say, there's a lot. So let's just get to it. Let's get to it.
Well, do you want to just name some really quickly?
Yeah, I watched Slender Man. That was garbage.
What? No way.
I fucking hated. The thing with Slender Man is I was like 30 minutes in, and I'm like, how does anybody hate this movie? This is really good and creepy. And then the rest of the hour just falls apart. I don't think it's a completed movie. I don't think they were able to finish it, or something happened. Because there's actually plot points that are just left open, and characters you don't just disappear. And you don't know what happened to them. So yeah, it's kind of gross. Watched Venom. It's okay.
And?
I don't like comic book movies and Marvel and all that, but Venom was kind of fun in a really bad way. It's like a bad movie, but it's like good. It's weird.
Yeah, I like those, and I love Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
so.
and he's a lot of fun in it. I watched Kin, which I really, really, really liked.
Okay, I'm excited to see that one.
Yeah, it was just kind of came out of nowhere, and I remember it playing at the theater, and I saw the trailer, and I was like, it looks okay. But yeah, it's like a low budget for, kind of the indie filmmakers they are. But I mean, when you look at low budget, it's like still like $30 million. But it's a good sci-fi flick, kind of a road movie. Two brothers are on the run from James Franco's gang. I know that sounds funny.
Relatable.
But it actually works out. It's actually pretty good. I really enjoyed Ken quite a bit. And then I watched what can I talk about? Between Worlds is out on VOD. I talked about Between Worlds briefly. Well, I don't know how brief I was. I probably spent a lot of time on it. But during Fantastic Fest, I watched Between Worlds, a Nicolas Cage movie. So I highly recommend Between Worlds. It was on my top 20. And it's not a good movie, but it is the best time I've ever had, like in my entire life in the theater.
Holy shit.
Between Worlds is... and I screened it for... if I can actually be public about this now, I guess. I didn't actually tell what the last movie was at my last marathon. I know a lot of people follow that, but I don't actually, because I had a copy of it when I wasn't really supposed to. But I had a copy that I screened for my friends. So Between Worlds is Nicolas Cage is a truck driver who witnesses a woman being strangled in the bathroom. He then attacks the guy that is strangling her, and then she gets upset because she is able to astral project when she's on the brink of death. And her daughter has just been in a bike, like a motorcycle accident. So she has to... Oh shit, my computer's about to die. How do I plug this in? Alright, this is behind the scenes. Alright.
Called a socket.
Yeah, I know that.
I'm on a cord.
Alright, I'm going to run over there real quick and plug it in. I'll be right back. You just sing.
Oh, nobody wants that. So, Brad's talking about like cool insider movies. I have been renting from the library, And yes, I do call it renting. I don't pay them anything except in taxes, of
Definitely
course.
not going to
But
edit that out.
it's been a lot of fun. What?
So Nicolas Cage then takes her to the hospital that her daughter is dying in. And he proceeds to choke her in the hallway while she grabs the soul of her
This
daughter
turned into like a story time.
to bring her back to her body. So, in payment and respect and thanks, she takes Nicolas Cage back to her home and proceeds to fuck his brains out. And then he gets fired from his job because he's late with his delivery with his truck. Nicolas Cage doesn't have any place to go, so he decides to stay with the woman. The daughter comes back to the home to start to recover. But Nicolas Cage gets this weird vibe about her. Turns out that Nicolas Cage's wife died years ago, and her soul lingers around. So it's not the soul of her daughter that she brings into her daughter's body. It is Nicolas Cage's dead wife. So not only is he fucking the mom, he starts to fuck the daughter too, because that is his wife. This movie is so fucking weird. It is insane.
No, really?
Like, it's just the lines of dialogue, everything that's happening in the movie. That's just the plot of the movie, and it just gets insane. Nicolas Cage reads Shakespeare, written by Nicolas Cage. It is unbelievable. Pay attention to the book that he's reading from when he's fucking. There's so much Nicolas Cage fucking in this movie. It's ridiculous.
While he's fucking?
Yeah, he's reading a book by Nicolas Cage.
Multitasker, okay.
Yeah. So, Between Worlds is fucking great. Watch it. It is awesome. Can
I ask you a quick personal question?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you think Nick Cage has the acting career version of Lucio Fulci's directing career? Think about it for a second.
You are on to something. Nicolas Cage is Lucio Fulci. Got it. That's
Glad we cracked that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I watched another movie. Rebecca McGentry, who does Shockwave, she had a movie come out that she directed with her husband. What did I say?
Wait, Kentry? I think he just threw a T in there. You're fine. I called you Brett, so names, right?
Yeah, I know. Who needs them? All right. So Rebecca McKendry. I thought I said, maybe I said.
She has a PhD, man. Don't mess that name up.
Okay. So anyways, her directorial debut is All the Creatures Stirring, which is a horror anthology based around Christmas. It's fine. I thought it got a lot of people hate this movie. I think it's because maybe they're expecting more, which I kind of was too, I think.
Yeah, and maybe something more traditional, but then she brought in kind of her theatrical background, and I think that threw a lot of people off.
Yeah, it's fine. It's definitely not as bad as people made it out to be, because I think people are just being a little bit more harsh on it, just because of her background and who she is, and I don't know, you may be expecting more from her, which I like I said, I was too, but it's not as near as bad as people say. There's a couple good segments in it, but all around, it's something I won't revisit during Christmas. But it was kind of a fun little watch. It breezes by. And plus, there's a lot of people in it that I really do like, as far as actors and personal friends of mine. So I enjoyed it for what it was. Severin put out Horror of Party Beach, which is really fun. I remember, I think I saw this on VHS back in the day, and I wasn't a fan of that Rubber Suit Monster movies, but this one is actually pretty fun. Yeah, I don't like Rubber Suit Monster movies.
Ooh, I love them.
I like I like creatures that are blown up, like bunnies and spiders that look bigger because it's like that like Tarantula and Night of Lepus and stuff like that.
So you're like the Farm Film Report guys, blowed up real good.
Yeah, it's just I'm not a big fan of rubber suits. I'm not a fan of Godzilla or anything like that. So,
oh my god,
I really liked Horror of Party Beach. It was a lot of fun. It's very comical. It's absolutely insane.
Is it as good as the Horrors of Spider Island?
I've never seen that. Should I?
Fair. I mean, they did on Mystery Science Theater, so you're probably okay. I like it.
See, I don't watch Mystery Science Theater. I fucking despise it, actually, if you want to get personal. I don't like if I want to watch a movie and enjoy it for its goofiness, I'll watch it with a group of friends and make my own laughs and jokes. I don't need to.
Cool, Brad. Some of us don't have groups of friends, so we need robots and spaceships. Thank you. Wow.
One that I was very happy that it was on Blu-ray. It's just because I'm not a big nostalgia person, because I don't believe in liking a movie just because I liked it when I was a kid, like Three Ninjas, Knuckle Up, or High Noon at Mega Mountain. Those movies suck. They were great when I was little, but I watch them now and they're just awful. Well, there's a couple that sneak in there that I still enjoy.
Flight of the Navigator, I think, is still.
I don't like that.
Okay, what about Prehysteria? That just came out.
That's what I'm talking about. So Prehysteria just came out on Blu-ray. I like all the Prehysteria movies, even the one at the golf course, which I think is 3. But
how many are there?
There's 3, just 3.
Okay.
But Prehysteria is just it's jump back to Last Action Hero with Austin O'Brien. But it's funny because Prehysteria is funny. It's cute, whatever. It's just a fun little kids movie. But what's crazy is that Charles Band actually did it. So
I love that he did a whole line of kids movies.
Yeah, with Moonbeam.
Yeah.
With Moonbeam, he started doing kids movies, and him and his brother did it. So yeah, that's just what he did with Moonbeam Entertainment, and it became Full Moon. So yeah, Moonbeam was they did a bunch of kids movies. So anyways, they did this, which is the first time on Blu-ray. I don't really believe all the crazy shit that they say they do in restorations, because Full Moon's a bunch of crooks. But the Blu-ray actually...
I bought a lot of big box VHSs from them, and they're legit.
Yeah, they're definitely from a couple years ago.
I can smell the 80s on them.
Are they yellow? Don't think so. But yeah, they say the transfer taken from the original 3D camera negative. It looks good, but I'm also basing that off. This is the first time the Prehysteria has been on any format other than VHS. But it's cheap, so it's fine. Yeah, and I think I will end maybe with that and see what you have last.
Okay. I will pick something that I probably shouldn't, because people are very passionate about these movies.
Uh-oh.
And they're studied, which is interesting.
The Matrix?
And I don't even know if I had heard of them before this box set was released.
What are you talking about?
I'm admitting a lot. I'm opening myself up to a lot of criticism here. And is the Blood Island collection from Severin.
Oh, yeah. Those movies are alright.
Yeah, it's...
Studied?
Yeah, no, if you dive into the extras here, wow, people are into them. And it is interesting when you learn about the background of the filmmakers and how much they got away with, where there's like no way a ratings board actually looked at these. They're like, oh, they're from a different country. Cool. Let's just put them through. And maybe they should have looked at them. But it's just looking at it, it has that kind of pulpy, gruesome, like pretty buxom lady with like corpses tearing their heads off. And I'm such a sucker for that. And most of the time it's a smoke show. It's just nothing like that. But these movies actually look like they're some of the very few movies that look like they're super colorful, wonderful, weird, gory posters. Except for Terrorism Man, which is black and white. The rest of them are like Technicolor, gory insanity. And it's a hell of a lot of fun. I don't think I'm going to spend years studying them. I don't think I'm going to join that group. But it's been a really fun ride. I think this will probably become like a big summer horror movie rotation for me.
Yeah,
Terrorism Man, Brides of Blood, Mad Doctor of Blood Island, and Beast of Blood. I think Beast of
they're all
Blood
by Romero, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old Eddie.
Yeah, he's done some crazy fucking movies in his life. But he's done. I didn't know he did each one though, right?
Yeah, he didn't direct Terrorism Man, but he was one of the producers. And then after that, he either worked with other people or, like, the last one he directed and produced himself.
Is Beast of the Yellow Night in that set? Is that one of those Blood Island movies, or is that
No, it's Terrorism Man, Brides of Blood, Mad Doctor of Blood Island, and Beast of Blood.
Oh, okay. I like Beast of the Yellow Night. That's one of my favorites by him.
That's not helpful to this, but okay.
Oh. Well, I will give you a little tidbit information. In Wayne's World, Garth actually has a Beast of Yellow Night poster in his bedroom.
What?
Yeah,
those movies get better all the time.
The deep cuts. But yeah, I actually haven't picked that set up. I don't think I've seen Terrorism Man, but I've seen the other Romero movies. So
it's a blast.
He's got some hell of some fucking movies too. So is there because he died just a few years ago? Is there any like commentaries with him? Because they did release all those on like DVD, like bootlegs, but I don't think they did anything.
Yeah, there's interviews. There's archival interviews, newer interviews. The commentaries are with like film historians.
Yeah, I didn't know those movies are studied. As I know they have I thought it was just a small fan base, but I guess it's bigger than.
No, they're really. I mean, it might be small, but they're incredibly passionate.
That fucking box set sold out quick.
You can still get on Amazon right now, but off their website, yeah, it did.
Well, I will probably grab that box set because I have not picked that up. So.
Well, I know you're running low on movies to watch, so you definitely should.
Oh God, I'm gonna get yelled at if I purchase that. It'll be worth it though. Yeah, I can't wait because, like, right now, if people don't know, I'm living in an apartment while we're getting a house, and there's no room for anything.
You sound so sad.
Well, I'm trying to talk quiet enough so Janice doesn't hear me, and I have so many movies, it's ridiculous. Like our dining room table is just
right now.
Huh?
Are they just in boxes right now?
No, because that would be too inconvenient. They're just all stacked up. So like I have shelves, and then I have the movies stacked on the shelves, and they're actually touching the ceiling.
Okay, please post a picture.
No, it looks awful.
Okay, well just send it to me then.
All right, we'll do.
Okay, well, I think we covered a good mix here.
Yeah, I think we got plenty of movies that we covered. Was there anything that really stood out for you as far as like Blu-ray releases for 2018? I know you did a show with Brian about it.
Yeah, I covered a lot there, like Female Troubles. I mean, John Waters is always going to be the biggest release for me. It's been okay, like, I'll get into it a little bit. Like, the whole physical media is dying thing. You can't really argue with that, but it seems like all of the more esoteric stuff, horror, cult movies, B movies, even probably more obscure classic films are ramping up. And I think that's going to be all that's left in like the coming years are just very specific releases for just crazy movie people who put a lot of importance on owning everything. So I've just been looking back on this year, or 2018 so much, and it was nuts. And I'm not saying that like, wow, guys, it's a great time to be a collector. There's so many great things to spend your money on. It's really overwhelming. Like,
No, it is, yeah. Well, it's just so much is coming out and new stuff too. Like I actually had that conversation with some friends of mine, and I was actually talking to John Squires off of Bloody Disgusting. Is that I'm seriously like into this stuff. I work for distribution companies. I watch new stuff. I work for festivals. I go to festivals. And I'm so fucking overwhelmed and behind. Like, I just look at, like, new releases on demand, and I'm like, what are these movies? Like, there's just so much. And I watch about 3 or 4 movies a day. And I'm so behind even on older stuff. Like, there's older movies all the time that pop up, and I'm just like, all right, I gotta watch that. I don't even have a watch list because it would just be stupid.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
So if we are somehow in lean times, which I think that's said by people who aren't really in it, they're kind of glossing over it. They're like, oh, streaming technology, that means everything else is dying out. Man, if this is famine, I don't know what I would do during a feast.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I am behind, and I'm pretty good at fitting movies.
I honestly think there needs to be like 5 years where no one makes one movie.
Yeah.
So we can play catch
You
up.
can write them. You can refine your ideas.
Yeah,
but...
let's everybody take a break, make your scripts better than they are, and then we'll go into production. And it just gives me some time to play catch up. Because if I literally had 5 years with no new movies coming out, I would definitely be caught up. And I've started young, man. I started being obsessed with movies at a very young age. So I've seen a lot of stuff, but like I want to jump through the screen and punch people in the face when they're like, "There's nothing to watch." I'm like, I wish I could have that mindset of like, oh
yeah, same with there's no new music, there aren't any books. It's like are you kidding me?
There's nothing anymore to watch. Bitch.
It's not immediately put in front of me. It's not there.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound like a total dick, but I've seen 100 times as more movies of you, and I'm so fucking behind. There's so much shit I want to watch. I wish I could have the mentality of thinking that, so I didn't feel overwhelmed.
They're not happy.
No, they're not. Just watch.
It's better to be overwhelmed by
just watch
art.
Creep Show again on your $50,000 Blu-ray. I'll watch some Eddie Romero movies.
The Creep Show was a good release. But I hear you. I hear you.
No, I'm just fucking around.
You just hate Scream Factory now. It's fine. I get
No, you know what? Since we're talking about Scream Factory, since you brought it up, what was really funny is like they had some kick-ass announcements recently.
Mm-hmm,
like they're digging in deep, and then they fucking ruined it by announcing Green Inferno.
That was funny. Yeah, they announced that today, right?
Yeah, they announced it today.
I think the whole Eli Roth signing was like the first time they've done anything like that. But it sold out already. People are like, wow, what a dumb gimmick. And it sold out the first day. So
here's the thing is Scream Factory is a big corporation. They are the most notable name in this industry, even more than Vinegar Syndrome, Arrow. Everybody thinks Scream Factory's first, which is fine. I mean, they've done a lot of work and they deserve it. I don't hate Scream Factory. I just don't like how they kind of treat people. So, oh shit, we missed this. Did you see this?
What?
They're doing the Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi collection.
No, I saw that. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, the Black Cat, the Raven. All right, fuck it. They're allowed to have Green Inferno. But yeah, they had The Brain recently.
Yeah.
They had
I'll
Brave
take
the
Green
Vampire.
Inferno if you're giving me all that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Superstition was another one that they announced. So yeah, I mean it's fine. They are digging deeper. I mean, I think we just have our shit with Scream Factory because they were being assholes to us. But I mean, a lot of people are not on the Scream Factory train, but at least they're trying to, I guess, make up for it with some of these cool releases. So, but I mean, they worked hard. It's well deserved. It's a big corporation, but yeah.
And Obsession's coming out like next week.
Which Arrow has. I think I have that on the Arrow Blu-ray though.
Do they? Because I tried finding it and I couldn't. But anyway, I don't own it, so. I don't know, man. We only have so much time. We only have so much money. So, factoring that in, yeah, there's just an endless amount. So, don't be one of those dudes complaining there's nothing to watch.
No.
You're just bad at decision making and you're lazy. It's you.
Yeah. No, I agree. And the thing is, I think a lot of people just don't like to branch out and here's the most beautiful thing is when I started going to South by Southwest in Austin, Janet, I can't think of her last name, Janet Pearson. She's a director of South by. She's been a director of South by for many years. So it's great to see a woman, as the lead in a festival. And she said something that really stuck with me. And I do it automatically. But it really stuck with me because I was like, yes, that's what I've been saying for fucking years. Is she said, ignore some of the... She's just out there. She's like, ignore the bigger movies. Ignore reading about them. Just take a chance. Like, go into something and not know anything about it. And I'm like, exactly. Because there's so many movies out there that you read the synopsis and you're like, oh, it doesn't sound interesting. Fuck it, just hit play.
I do find amazing gems that way. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I was like, that's how I found Pickings. It turned out to be... And Venzante was another one of my top 20 that came out. I got that in the mail and I was like, oh, what's this? And it turned out to be a beautiful movie. Heartbreaking, but beautiful. So yeah, it's just, you gotta take a chance. And sometimes some of my favorite films of the festival are the ones I know nothing about. So,
So ignore everything telling you what to watch except for Screamcast. Because we have your best interests at heart.
It's true. I feel, it's the one thing that this show has done is that we started off just doing Scream Factory stuff, but I'm glad all that happened because I want to talk about other stuff. I want to talk about, like the one episode with Drew Marvick when we did Pool Party Massacre. I talked about Young Girls of Rochefort for like 15 minutes.
Ooh, Vegas represent. So I have to throw that in there.
No, I know. I'm going after a Las Vegas movie for Vinegar Syndrome. I can't talk about the title, but I'll text you.
Thank you. With that picture of the movie.
Jesus. I'm only going to send you a section.
You know what? You never sent me the pictures of your dad, so I don't expect anything.
Oh. Well, didn't I show you the video? Didn't I, put the videos of them scaring me on
you talked up his nashiness and nothing. I got nothing.
Yeah, I'll have to send pictures when he's younger and a little bit more fit.
Okay.
So.
Let's just end this. I can't believe it's 2 hours. I thought this would be shorter.
Yeah. Where you wanted to talk about my dad, so.
Wow.
Send me pictures of your shirtless dad.
Yeah, because that took up the bulk of the time.
Send me pics of your shirtless dad.
That was like a year ago. I've been very patient.
I totally forgot about that.
I know. I did too until now, to be fair.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you for letting us ramble for 2 hours about movies, and maybe we'll do it again. Maybe Sean will ruin it next time. So we will see.
Go watch some movies.
Yes. All right. Thank you for sponsors and sponsors that do this. voiceover stuff for Sean, Tales from the Crypt stuff and writings from Stephanie, my bullshit, Club Scum, Coffee Shop of Horrors, Kevin Spencer, Wolfmen of Mars. Anybody that has contributed to the Screamcast, thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Oh, don't tell me you're leaving. The party's just begun.